And to celebrate the Ryder Cup, NBC Sports hitting the road with a one-of-a-kind RV shopping or one-of-a-kind RV stopping at cities across the country on its way to Whistling Straits. From Dallas, Texas to Rainbow Row in Charleston, the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte, Oriole Park, Camden Yards, 30 Rock in New York City. And now the RV has finally parked at Whistling Straits, in all traveling 3,500 miles through 16 states. Nice way to roll across America. And time now to get the tournament ready, presented by Cintas, because you're thinking about going to a Ryder Cup, and it's a notch in your belt if you're a fan of any sport. 2023, they're going to play in Rome. That'll be fun. 2025, hold on to your hats. Bethpage Black outside of New York City. 2027 in Ireland at Adair Manor, and then 2029, because they love the Heartland, back to Hazeltine National, where it was contested 5 years ago. With more, let's go down to Todd Lewis, who is with Jaimie Diaz.
Rich, thank you very much. We have a lot of great venues to look forward to when it comes to the Ryder Cup. And Jaimie, over the years, we've had some great venues as well. First time the Ryder Cup comes to Whistling Straits, we've seen major championships here, 3 PGA championships. How would you rate Whistling Straits as a Ryder Cup venue?
Yeah, there have been 37 Ryder Cup sites since 1927. I'm willing to say that Whistling Straits is the best one.
Wow. Wait.
Yeah. Well, you know,
day one, you're calling this the best one ever.
It just looks so good. I mean, we got spectacular golf, interesting golf, just very exciting golf. And you're talking about Lake Michigan, Pete Dye, aerial views. It's a series of risk-reward holes, unmatched, I think, and it's in the ultimate, match play event, which risk-reward plays the most important role. Certainly, Belfry has the 10th and 18th holes, which distinguish it as great risk-reward holes and make it a great Ryder Cup site. But gosh, Whistling Straits has half a dozen of those. I mean, you watch it anticipating, like, what's next? What's this next hole going to bring us? Today, we saw a great sample of that. We saw Bryson DeChambeau's drive 417. Scotty Scheffler said that his line was 200 yards left of Bryson's. He took such an incredible line and fit it in. And then you had Jordan here. That's one of the Hall of Fame short game shots ever. Just a sky-high wedge that went, so unearthly high that we'll always remember it. You had Tony Finau driving the 6th hole. You had near hole-in-ones. Here's Bryson. This is amazing. It's almost as good, maybe better than what he did at Bay Hill. With that, as memorable, too. You had the 12th hole today, near hole-in-ones to that cliffside pin. That was amazing. I think just more, shot-for-shot excitement than any Ryder Cup's ever produced. There have been a lot of great venues at the Ryder Cup. I mean, there's Royal Birkdale and Pinehurst and Muirfield Village. But for spectacular shots, I sort of felt like Kiowa Island was the best one in 1991. And that's a Pete Dye thing. I think Pete is just the best at setting up stages that are showbiz. But the difference is Kiowa was so hard that it discouraged risk. And Whistling, with this friendlier setup in the lower rough, it's encouraging risk. And that's what's making it special.
It's interesting, too. We're showing some great shots here, and players are able to take advantage of those opportunities. But there, like you mentioned, there is quite a bit of danger out here, too, and I think that comes into play as well, right?
No question. And if the wind blows, it's really a dangerous course. But when it's fairly benign and the rough's not high, it's gettable. And I think that makes for a better match play because you're seeing the full variety of risk taken on. And that's really what makes Pete Dye courses most exciting.
And you mentioned wind. By the way, we've been talking about the rain that's falling right now. That is ahead of a front that is coming through. That means tomorrow the wind will blow. So we will have some excitement once again here at Whistling Straits, day number 2 of the Ryder Cup. Jaimie, as always, enjoyed our time together. Stay with us as we continue here on Live from the Ryder Cup. Rich Lerner was a happy man today. He's a big basketball fan, and he got to sit down with one of the biggest stars in the game, Steph Curry, who loves golf. You'll hear that conversation and much more coming up.
Here's a question. How can something like floor mats help improve your business? How can this give your employees more confidence to do that? How can safety glasses make your company more productive? And how can the way you look change the way customers see you? For over 1 million companies, the answer is simple. Cintas. So to help keep your business well-equipped, clean, and looking its best, get Cintas. And get ready for the workday.
To make sure the TP5 is the best ball for every shot in golf, we had some friends put it to the test.
Hydra.
Check.
Check. Check.
Check.
One hop and stop.
Out the short grass.
Out of no grass. Check. Low spinner.
Knockdown wedge.
Driver off the deck.
No matter the shot, there's one ball that's better for all.
Check.
Introducing the newly redesigned TaylorMade TP5 and TP5X.
Check.
The most complete ball in golf just got even better. Only from TaylorMade.
I can turn anyone into a beach bum. I bring families together for a living. I make memories for people I don't know yet. I know this view is too good not to be shared. I am a verbal host.
The White House would like us to balance the needs of the economy with science.
What the?
This isn't The Walking Dead. It's reality.
We're in trouble.
We're in something.
Dad, let me see your arm.
Just because your dad is tired doesn't mean he's gonna turn into a zombie.
Says the web. He's got it, doesn't he? Let's not panic.
Pardon me, I skipped lunch today.
Oh, this world's a little crazy. Oh, you are mine.
We've been to the moon and through the glass ceiling and brought the world to their feet. And still, we're not done yet. Hispanic Heritage Month. Come with us.
Tell you what, Dustin Johnson was showing off today. There was a particular athlete who was watching from close by.
Well, just when you say that's clutch, right? Then you go, well, who's been more clutch than that man? Greatest basketball player of all time. Talent recognizes talent. And right there, look at the smile on his face. It's just great having Michael Jordan out here. And how about Steph Curry? It's just great having these legends here.
You know how much I loved it, right? I mean, I had Steph Curry was nice enough to join us on the set. I spoke to him earlier today. What a pleasure it is to be joined by one of the great athletes in the world today, Stephen Curry, two-time NBA MVP, seven-time All-Star, three-time champion with the Golden State Warriors, and the greatest shooter of all time. Steph, I think everybody knows how much I love basketball. I'm constantly talking about it on this show. You're as excited to be here as I'm excited to have you.
Absolutely. This is an honor to be on this set. I can't tell you how many hours you're on the TV at my house or in the locker room or delaying practice because we're watching golf. So this is an honor to be here. My first Ryder Cup, so an amazing atmosphere.
Love it. You were out there, and what was it like, and is it comparable to anything that you face in the NBA?
I mean, pulling up to the venue here at Whistling Straits, it felt like an NBA Finals because you could feel like the collective murmur even at 6 a.m. this morning before the sun even rose. Just a lot of excitement knowing that the fans are here and can enjoy it. That first tee experience is something I've never seen before, in golf, where there's such an energy and a build-up, and when those players come out the tunnel, it's go time. And so it's amazing to see how the players deal with it. I'm sure there's a crazy adrenaline rush, but they're so good, it doesn't seem to affect their shots at all.
Did you see Jordan Spieth's shot at 17?
I did. First, we got to talk about his vertical leap to even get a chance to see the green.
And by the way, Brandel in the trailer said that was like a Steph Curry step back three from distance when he went down that hill.
Sometimes when you hit the shot, or if I'm hitting a jumper, you can turn around and run the other way. He did it a different way down the hill. I'm glad he caught himself, though, because I don't want him running into the lake.
You've played some golf with Jordan. What's that experience like?
I played with Jordan. We played with Justin. Seen Tony out there in person. You just realize how good these guys are.
All right, so you've played 2 Korn Ferry Tour events, and I think accorded yourself nicely with a 71 the opening round a few years ago. You're scratch at this point, and you have been a +2. So what'd you come to understand about professional golf, having played the Korn Ferry Tour and with guys like Justin and Jordan, that maybe you didn't before?
You just have an appreciation for this level, the best that are playing in the Ryder Cup, that have demonstrated elite status for the last 2 years and for their entire careers really. But just the way that they approach the game, the strategy that's involved, the mental preparedness. When I was out there on the Korn Ferry Tour, you realize how much focus is you have to sustain for hours and day after day, and how one shot can dictate whether you have success or not. So in this Ryder Cup format, to watch these guys take on the pressure of not just playing for themselves but for their teams and living and dying on every shot, it's an amazing opportunity.
You've played before the most intense crowds in the biggest games. We hear about home court advantage. How exactly does that elevate an athlete's performance?
I'm under the mindset, playing on the road is always a lot more fun to hush a crowd. You love seeing sad, upset faces leave the stadium. I'm sure for the European team, they want to do that here, but it's also an amazing atmosphere to have, your home crowd cheering for you, especially when you get the momentum going. There's no feeling like that, but to hush a road crowd, that's pretty sweet right there. So to have that opportunity, you thrive off of those moments.
By the way, are you as good in golf from 35 feet as you are in basketball? Because you're amazing.
No, I picked the right day.
What's the best aspect of your game?
Short game is definitely the best. I know I didn't show it in the match when I played in it, but the short game is definitely the best. That's probably the part for me that translates the most in terms of hand-eye coordination and all that type of stuff.
What are some of the principles of shooting that could be applied to golf?
Just seeing your shot before you hit it. I think for me, when I'm running around the court, taking shots off balance, left, right, you see that shot in the arc and the flight of the ball before you even release it. I'm sure these guys have those visual kind of approaches to, I know where I want the ball to land. You're not probably really thinking about technique as much when you're in competition. It's just feel and the reps that take over. I'm seeing the ball, where I want to hit it, and you just execute it, and that's very comparable.
When you're raining threes, you're in what they call the zone.
The zone.
You're not thinking about much.
Yeah, you're not thinking about much. It's effortless at that point.
It's so much fun to watch. I know you're in the role this week of reporter, producer, creator for our company, for NBC, with your unanimous media. You did an interview with Michael Jordan today. It will air on Sunday. What's the most interesting thing that he said, and a bit of a sneak peek?
I think just what he sees in terms of the competitive nature of these guys. I asked him, who he saw himself the most in terms of, Team USA guys. I won't spoil his answer, but when you kind of rub shoulders with the guys, you see that competitive fire come out, and you see them bring their best selves to the team. But he also talked about some of the sacrifice that's necessary to make a team go, and what you have to do to adjust if things are going well, if they're not, and how you build that team chemistry on the fly.
Which tour players fascinate you most, and why?
Justin Thomas, for sure. I've gotten to know him pretty well, and he's definitely a fiery, competitive guy, but he has just such a gamer mentality. He always seems to show up when it matters most, and he has such a unique style that he owns, and I love to see that out of him.
Who else in the NBA has game? On the green grass.
The list is growing.
It's good. We like that.
The game of golf is growing within the NBA circles. My brother's got the bug now. Kent Bazemore, a good friend of mine, has been playing for a long time. He's obsessed with the game. Andre Iguodala as well. Mike Conley, Kyle Lowry. There's a lot of guys that are taking up the game and becoming very passionate and knowledgeable about it. And I'm sure they're going to watch this, and hopefully their games are trending in the right direction.
Time to put the sticks away for the most part, because camp begins, in 2 weeks?
Yeah, we start pretty soon, getting ready to go.
You and Clay going to be Splash Brothers going to be a pain.
Hopefully,
ready?
Reunited very soon. He's on the road to recovery. He's on the right track to being ready this season. And whenever he is ready, when he gets back to 100%, it's definitely going to be a problem.
Last thing I want to say, I know everybody talks about you being the greatest outside shooter ever. I don't think there's any question. I tell my two boys who are basketball players, I said, we saw you in New Orleans. Watch Stephen move without the ball. John Havlicek, Larry Bird, you're among the greatest in that aspect of the game, which I find fascinating, moving without the ball.
Absolutely.
That's a lost art.
Absolutely. That might be a good caddy, too, I guess, with that.
Do a double loop.
Double loop. Exactly.
Stephen, thank you so much. Continued success with everything that you're doing. You've been a gift for all of us who love to watch high performers in sports.
I appreciate that, Rich. Thank you very much.
Stephen Curry. Go, Brandon. You like his swing, don't you? You like his action.
I liked everything about that. Wonderful golf swing, and there were some pearls in there. Not thinking about technique. Feel takes over when I'm in the flow, trying to hush a road crowd. That's what Europe is hoping to do tomorrow.
He's special, and I actually think he's just a tad underrated, believe it or not, as a basketball player. I think he will, when all's said and done. He'll go down as one of the 10 best to have ever done it. And he's a pioneer in the game, transformative figure. 6 a.m. live from tomorrow morning.
Oh! I know how that feels. Could be your grips.
Let me try yours.
Yep. Feels good, huh?
Feels good, huh?